Oh, man. Okay. According to this, we're live. So, buenas, buenas. I think everything is set. Uh, oh, man, the setup process is always such a pain. Please let me know if you can hear the audio. I'm going to leave this in the chat. Please let, let me know if you can hear the audio. Uh, Either way, that's just in case you don't hear me. I'm going to check myself as well. Check yourself because sometimes it's not what I want it to be. So let's see. So, buenas to anyone who is joining now. Let's see if this is working. Okay, looks like the audio is working and it is good. The Bucks stop here. Hello. How's it going over in Cotocachi? I hope everything is well. Buenas, buenas. Good evening. Normally I do this in the afternoon, so I was just about to say good afternoon. But no, buenas noches in this case. Loud and clear, perfect. Yeah, I was checking the audio on my phone over here as well, and it looks like it's working well. We're going to begin soon. This this kind of feels like the online classes I've been giving recently, where I tell the students, "Okay, we're going to begin soon. I'll give you about 5 minutes for any stragglers to connect." I don't say that in English because it's an English class, so the majority wouldn't understand the word stragglers, because that is, at least for anyone who's not from the States, that would be a very difficult word to know. But yes, we will be waiting for everyone to join. We'll give everyone about a good 4 minutes, so let's have a little chat about what we're going to talk about here today. As usual, I've been having the talking points all set up. I have them all in a document, so that way, if there's anything that I want to talk about, I have it all here. There's, let's see here, one. It's just that that first talking point has like four sub talking points, pretty much. Two, which is three. Technically, the majority of the talking points are related to the Paro. Four, except for that one. And then the fifth issue, the fifth talking point is a little bit separate, but still related to Ecuador things. It's just, it's more of a comparison. So we'll talk about that one, of course, closer to the end. And then the last thing, there are some extra things that I want to talk about. I'll get that in a second. Today we have no sponsor, the chips that I talked about last time that I had for my brother's party. This time I bought a bag for myself. Well, since we're still waiting for everyone to join, a little bit of a prelude for anyone who joins, of course, this live stream. This is a live stream. We will be talking about current Ecuador events, including the Ecuador Paro, but not just limited to that. There's also slight, tiny bit of worldwide news that I do want to cover. Not really cover, but just kind of mention. And then at the end, of course, we will have a conversation about extra topics that I just want to talk about. These chips, potato chips, uh, I like them. Buy them at Super Maxi. The bag costs 70 cents, 96 grams. And we're going to be eating this today because today was a hectic day. I was out since 8 in the morning, 8:30. Got home at 1:30, took like 30-minute nap, went to the academy, did my work. Oh no, I prepared some things. Then I went to the gym, got out of the gym, took a break, had my sort of dinner because, well, yeah, it was my dinner, just really fast. Then went over to give classes. Great kid, private classes. Gave him some English classes. We practiced a bit, kind of like reinforcement as they call it here. Uh, and now I'm here. That was the pretty much the schedule for today, summarized. But yeah, so we'll wait 1 more minute for everyone to join. Buenas to everyone who is joining. Thank you for joining tonight's live stream. It is October 3rd. We are officially in October now. Techtober, if you're into the tech sector, into tech in general, if you're in the tech sector, is what MKBHD likes to call October. I personally love tech as well, not to the level that MKBHD does, but I really do like it. I like to stay up to date with phones, with laptops, tablets. That's why I also watch Gamers Nexus for anyone who checks that out. Great channel. And yeah. But anyways, we're about to start. We're about to begin. So let me start projecting like this is a projector. But no, let's start showing the first thing we're gonna talk about today. All right, so officially 9:05. Thank you everyone who has joined early or on time. We're going to begin, of course. And if the stream wigs out a little bit, I apologize. I would hope that's not the case because at least on this laptop, it's actually been doing pretty well. So we're gonna start off with the first topic for today, which is the situation as this article says. Ecuador's president claims narco gang behind fuel price protests. So, as the majority of people who are in Ecuador, I mean, if you don't, really, you're very disconnected from Ecuadorian society. But the majority of people in Ecuador know, or anyone who's kept up to date with my channel, because we did live stream and talk about this last week. Ecuador is currently in a paro, a paro nacional. Paro means strike. Paro, technically, if you just look at it as a verb, it means stop. Um, but it's stop in first person. Yo paro, I stop. But yes, we are currently in a paro strike. Uh, it's weird in some ways because just a little bit of a personal opinion. It hasn't really hit Manabi. We haven't been directly affected by the paro in the sense that we just haven't had anything like stop or not happen or great. I click on the X to get rid of what I assumed was an ad because there was just a floating X and it just teleported me back to the homepage. But yes, the paro isn't something that is affecting the country, the whole country, in the sense that citizens who are just working, living normal lives, you don't see it, but you do see it on the news because the north part of Ecuador is feeling more the effects of the paro. And there are some things that I want to talk about in regards to that, of course, in general, the paro. And so, one thing, first of all, is that for anyone who was here the past few years, you know how bad that battle was, especially if you were here in Manabi, because you actually felt it. Like I actually felt the effects of that battle because we saw it happen. And it was bad. Pretty annoying to see things go up in price, some things just not available. It was a battle, it was a strike. But right now, it's not to that level. And basically, if we read what this article says, which we are going to proceed to do now, Ecuador's president. Oh no, the loading thing. Um, wait, it's not like I'm doing anything on the page. Ecuador's president on Tuesday. Oh my God, it says page unresponsive. If you see that pop up, it's I don't even get it. It's only unresponsive because you have 50 million ads popping up on the page that I don't need. Okay, so Ecuador's president on Tuesday accused the Venezuelan drug gang Tren de Aragua of financing indigenous fuel price protests that have rocked this country for days. His country, president's, our country. President Daniel Noboa earlier this month announced a cut in the fuel subsidy he said would save the state $1.1 billion. The move saw the price of diesel soar from $1.80 to $2.80 per gallon, 48 cents to 74 cents per liter. A bitter pill in a country where nearly a third of the population is poor. So, some of my thoughts in regards to this situation. Um, if we look, well, we actually have to look further down on the in the article because the cause over here. So if we look at what the president has to say on X, he posted photographs of several men behind bars without clarifying who they were, why they were detained, or what their link to the protests was. This is not a struggle. It's not a protest. It's the same mafias as always. President Daniel Noboa's actual words. So to me, what this is basically confirming, or it's at least what I feel is being said by the president, is that this is just another attempt at a sort of sabotage uh, to the country, or someone trying to sabotage the country. And the specific people who we all assume sabotage the country, we can blame the narcos, but the thing is, the narcos are always said to be in line with a certain group of people that I think if you've been on the channel long enough, or if you live in Ecuador, they're always going to be mentioned. That group is always going to be mentioned. So at least there's that idea that it's that group of people who's actually sabotaging the country, not just the narcos. Basically, the narcos are in cahoots with this group of people, I guess is what you could say. Uh, I wouldn't put it past the group, for that group to be involved in some way, um, even if it's just the narcos making the government, trying to make the government look worse to make other groups look better. But I do think that the protests themselves are in part a natural reaction of people who uh, they don't want the diesel prices to go up. Though it is kind of weird because I did have this conversation with my dad. I was hearing him talk about like how it's ridiculous for these paros to be happening in a way because the group of people who are protesting basically, and this is a similar thought that I had, there are people who are protesting and they're freezing the economy pretty much in certain places of the country. And by them protesting themselves in order to have better working conditions or, to have the diesel at a cheaper price, which helps their working conditions, they're basically just like making it so that they have less work themselves. I mean, personally, I don't know how I feel about that because it kind of feels silly to protest in order for the economy to get better. Like you would say that if the diesel prices go back down, then you can buy more diesel, and thus, in theory, the economy would be better. But by freezing everything, are you not earning money while the economy is frozen, while you're not working, while you're out there protesting on the streets? And that's not to say that like you shouldn't protest for the things that you believe in. Of course, if this is truly something that the people who are protesting believe in, like it's a good thing. But sometimes the groups of people who protest are basically just protesting to keep themselves relevant, to keep themselves in the eyes of the people, and to show that they have some kind of power. And I don't know what this showboating is about. Like, I guess you could say you don't want the government, like, because I was thinking about it. I had a really really deep, like, I guess sort of deep. I don't want to say really, but like I had this kind of like deep conversation with myself. Like, what if Daniel Noboa had 100% power of the country? Like Daniel Noboa, all of his people were in Congress. Like 100%, he could do whatever he wanted. And it made me think of the concept of a monopoly, which you could never allow to happen because once something is completely dominated by one person or one group of people, they get to choose exactly what happens, when it happens, how it happens. So if Daniel Noboa and the group behind him, ADN, were in complete control of the country, there would be no opposition. And everything that he wanted to do would be able to happen. In some cases, that would be great because we do know that the country is trying to fight against narcos, crime, all the situations that we know are happening in the country. But it would also be crazy to hand one person or even just one government the full power and control of the country because then there's no one to stop that person from doing whatever they wanted. Like you could say that that's what we need in order for things to advance, But without some kind of opposition, everything can go by unfiltered. What do I mean by this? If the president wanted to, let's just say, uh, let's just say he wanted to add a tax, to raise the tax to 20%. And supposedly, let's just say that the 5% he was adding, he says that 5% is destined to go into, I don't know, the agricultural sector. Okay, let's just say it's the agricultural sector. And since there's no one to oppose it, there might be people who think, but the agricultural sector doesn't need that 5% tax. And if it's 5%, why not divide it like 1% and give it to different sectors of the economy instead of just focusing it all on agriculture? And since there's no one but like to stop that, like no one to tell him no, that's not okay, it would just go through. Like, okay, done. Now we have 20% tax. So it makes sense that there's a group of people who are behind the who are on the opposite side of the president, and of course that there's the people who are behind the president in order to help things go through. So one group serves as a filter in order to make sure not everything goes through, and the other group makes sure that things go through, while the other group once again comes back, and if something goes through, hey, okay, we'll let it go through, but at least modify this, like make it a little bit better, a little bit more convenient, for more people. That was just a conversation I had with myself one day, and I was like, okay, it kind of makes sense to not allow one group of people to have all the power in the country. But anyways, I digress. Uh, like I was saying, realistically, I feel like there are going to be people, of course, who are protesting, like I said, just for relevance, just for the attention, to cause a scene. And maybe they truthfully do want to change some things. Maybe. Uh, but there's also the group of people who I do feel like would be protesting because they do want to avoid things going in the direction that they're going in. And I'm not just talking about the people who belong in the group of people who really don't like this current government and would never like any other government except for the one that they like. But I'm talking about people who just simply, hey, I don't want diesel to go up in price because that might make everything else go up in price, and that's not good because I don't have money. I'm among those people who doesn't want things to go up in price because I don't want things to become more expensive. But I have no idea what the exact changes are going to be, if any, because we don't know what the end result is going to be. While Daniel Noboa, the president, did guarantee that there was going to be compensation for transportation in order to avoid transportation prices going up, that still doesn't tell me that from here to a year, or who knows how long that compensation goes on for, there's not going to be a price increase because of the fact that the subsidy is gone. Food for thought. We can live in the now as much as we want, but we have to also look at the future. Uh, I do believe that living in the now is important, but I also remember my dad talks about the global, which is funny, ironic, because if you're in the gaming sector, if you like gaming, if you heard about what happened with Xbox Game Pass, Microsoft Xbox, they raised the price of their subscription tier, and while I think it went up from like $20 to $30 or 25 to 30, and you might be like, hey, that's $5, $10. It sucks, but okay, I can pay for that because I'd rather pay that than pay for $60, $70, $80 game. This is, but then you add it up because it's monthly. So if it went up $10, that means in a year it went up $120. So is it really worth what you're paying for it now? Like what you're gonna be paying for it, like versus what you were paying for it. And you also have to consider in something like that, do you game enough to take advantage of that kind of service? For anyone who says, why are we talking about video games? I'm just making a comparison. Like the effects of certain things aren't what happened at the moment. Like at the moment, we can say transportation is fine. Sure, cool. But from year to a year, transportation could go up. And assume taxis cost $1.50 right now. And I don't think taxis are going to go up in price. But let's go with buses. If it costs you a dollar to get from Puerto Viejo to Manta, which I don't remember if it was a dollar, if it was a little bit more, or if it was $5. But let's just assume it was $2, just to be fair, because I can't remember how much it cost. If it was $2, and now it goes up to 3, because of the diesel increase. And it went up to 3, and you travel to Manta 5 days a week. That means in a week, your price of traveling just went up $5 because it went up $1 because you're paying $1 more. In a month, you multiply that by 4, so $5 times 4, that's $20. In a year, 20 times 12, 2 times 12. Well, maybe that's too much. Hold up, I'm not good at math. 2 times 12 is 24, 240. Is it 240 though? Sorry, me and basic math sometimes don't get along. So if it went up $20 times 12 months, yeah, 240. I don't know. I just saw it as such a big number that I couldn't believe that was actually the case. So $240, that's a lot of money in a year. Like for you to have gone up in price, when if the subsidy were to stay, you wouldn't have to pay for that. We can also argue maybe other things will change in price and that would make you spend more money anyways. But then we could just keep arguing about that back and forth about other things, and that would just be ridiculous. But yeah, that's just an analysis of looking at things not just in the moment, but looking at things more towards the future. Now, what I did want to analyze, and this is something of a, I want to call it like a conspiracy theory. I want to call it sort of like a hot take, because I actually I hinted at something like this a while back without directly saying it, but I'm gonna say it because I kind of feel like this is the case. So the president mentioned, President Daniel Noboa, he mentioned Tren de Aragua. You guys, if you live in the States or if you've heard of news from the States, then you probably heard of Tren de Aragua, because that's exactly the gang that President Donald Trump is actually been trying to pin everything on, basically, or to that's like his enemy right now. So the thing that I want to say, like my take, is that Daniel Noboa, in my opinion, in some things, is copying what President Trump is doing, but he's doing them in kind of a different way. So this is where we get into a bit of extra talking points. And it's going to be in a little bit of mixed order because there's a lot to talk about here. So bear with me. We're going to start with this. The first thing. We didn't get to cover this because originally it wasn't actually a part of it. It was, but then it got removed, or it wasn't approved yet, but now it is. So the president proposed for five-star hotels to implement casinos with 25% of the earnings from these casinos going to programs that help fight against malnourishment. Okay, I like the purpose of the 25% of the earnings going to help fight against malnourishment. I think there's no one who would say, hey, we shouldn't take care of the people who are malnourished. Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of people would be like, that's a good cause for the money to go to. When typically you think of casino and you think of greedy people who profit off of people's addictions, let's just say. Not to say that it's completely if you responsibly do things like that, okay, I'm not judging you for that, but I think it kind of sucks that they take advantage of people who just can't stop. Okay, there's some things I don't know how I feel about that. About where the funds are going to be going, though, because that's the topic we'll talk about in a bit. And I don't know how I feel about the situation, because I do have concerns about there being casinos, while at the same time I do realize that the country itself already has things like sports betting, which, if you didn't know, yes, sports betting is actually a thing. Let me open up this article which shows a kind of negative effect of sports betting. So let's open this. Hold up. While we wait for this to open, give me a second. Let me make sure this is okay. No, why do you want to know my location? Can you change it to English, please? Good. Okay, and we need a little bit of a zoom. I think. All right, let's see how this looks now. Chatting with info. So, as you can see here, three professional players murdered in less than a month. Gambling and drug trafficking threaten Ecuadorian soccer. Organized crime is extending its dominance to Ecuador's soccer fields, where soccer players have become targets of threats and murders amid the country's worst wave of violence. Realistically, I'll tell you this because I have heard of it before. People do bet on soccer games, but typically it's like a friendly bet where you tell your friend, "Hey, $5 that my team is gonna win." Barcelona, for example. "Hey, you're on. Emelec's gonna win. $5." And if Barcelona wins, you give your friend $5. The Emelec friend, if Emelec wins, uh, you give the Emelec guy the $5 or whatever. The point being that if one side wins, you give them the money. It's not a big deal. But because of there actually being such a thing as sports betting, plagued by, as the article says, plagued by gambling and threats of match fixing, soccer has become a high risk sport in Ecuador. What was once a sporting celebration has now become a fearsome environment dominated by hitmen and extortion schemes that have turned the South American country's most popular sport into a drug trafficking territory. In fact, the drug related violence plaguing the country has taken over the fields with such intensity that it has left three professional players dead in less than a month. So, just to give you here the examples that it talks about, the celebrations for the Tricolor's qualification for the 2026 World Cup in North America are taking place in a bittersweet context as the country records the worst homicide rate in its history. A week ago, midfielder, and this is talking about when I checked up this article was September 27th, so at this point about 2 weeks ago, midfielder Jonathan Gonzalez, 31, was at home in the troubled port of Esmeraldas on the border with Colombia when men on a motorcycle shot him in the head after he refused to fix a match. Speedy, as he was known, was a healthy boy and died because of gambling. Oswaldo Batallas, an employee of the 22 de Julio club in Ecuador's second division, where Gonzalez played, told AFP. And here it gives you more information about what had happened in the process for this to happen. There was also this, like here's the other one. 9 days before Gonzalez's murder, players Michael Valencia and Leandro Yepes were gunned down. So basically, as you can see, there is violence in regards to this, in regards to gambling, to betting, and things like that in general, in regards to sports betting. But separate to that, um, my thoughts on it on this being implemented, the casinos being implemented in five-star hotels. Like, I doubt any normal person is going to be affected by this at all. Like, what kind of normal person is going to a casino, a five-star hotel, a casino in a five-star hotel to make bets? Maybe the most addicted ones, but like then you're talking about like such a small percentage of the population who actually have money and are addicted to gambling that it's almost hard to count. Like I would say that yeah, I would be surprised if there were 100 people who were in bad on their luck in terms of being like maybe not economically well and at the same time being addicted to gambling to the point where they would actually go into a five-star hotel to play the casino. And I do have a concern, like I was mentioning earlier, with the where the funds are going in regards to these malnourishment, the malnourishment help, um, because I feel like there's some concerns of personal gain, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on. So, moving on from the situation with the sports betting, the casino, uh, I want to take a look at the insistence of receiving aid from the states to combat crime. This is probably the one thing that I'm really, really on board with. But there are people who look at this as basically saying that Ecuador's forces are weak. Like by submitting to the fact that we need help from an external country like the United States, it's like Ecuador is saying we can't handle this ourselves. And people don't like that, apparently. I mean, I don't mind. If we need help, like we need help. Like let's not sugarcoat this. Uh, then I also wanted to talk about the situation with the tariff on the 4x4, which made it so now, if you don't remember about the situation with the tariff on the 4x4, it's the $20 price that you have to pay in order to have something imported from outside of the country into Ecuador. There are certain conditions to the 4x4, but if you need to know about them, I'll let you ask me in the chat. If not, we've already talked about it before. So, and finally, the last thing that I wanted to mention in regards to my theory of Daniel Noboa emulating Trump, President Trump, President Noboa, is that there's the photo that President Noboa took with President Trump. So you have kind of an idea of what I want to talk about. So first, let's talk about the casino and the situation with what I feel is kind of self-interest. So let's open up the link. Yes, yes, in Spanish. I want to translate it to English. Okay, cool. After, I don't want to subscribe to this page. Though I do appreciate your news. Thank you, Primicias. Okay, so a thin thread connects Daniel Noboa's family with the school breakfast supplier. Now, this is where I start getting into my kind of, like I said, theories. I don't know about you, but like I said, the president kind of feels like he's following in the steps of another president that we know about that I mentioned already, but using different methods. Now, the situation with the casino, like the casino itself is the casino, but what I feel about the casino is the fact that there's some of the funds that are going to go to malnourishment programs. I kind of feel like there's the possibility of the earnings of those 25% to go to the family members of the president or the corp or the institution that they own. As we see here in the article that I just pulled up, because this is something that people have been talking about for a few months. Maybe they've stopped talking about it as much as before, but I don't forget because this is pretty shady. So, an aunt and five cousins of President Daniel Noboa appear through a network of companies as the final beneficiaries of the Ecuadorian Food and Beverage Corporation, one of the winning companies in the bid to provide school breakfasts in 3 regions of Ecuador. Now, we can all say that, oh, but what if they won it fair and square? Like, that could happen. But unfortunately, with the way things are, and a lot of things that seem to be like going in line with the president kind of taking advantage of his power, like it's not like he's openly saying that. No one like no, that's not what's happening. But like there are people who say he evaded his IRS debt because he's in power, the one that his dad had. Um, there's I remember hearing about something else, but I don't remember what exactly it was. But basically, it's like he's just ah, his family owns the companies that sell generators, apparently. And because of the situation with the blackouts, I think people were saying that for him it was convenient that there were blackouts because his family could take advantage and earn money through the blackouts by selling generators. Once again, these are full conspiracy theories, like 100%. Like I'm saying, like what people have talked about, and I've just had it like glued to the back of my mind And now that this situation comes up, I'm like, what if? Could it be? I don't know. The businesses of President Daniel Noboa's family, part of one of Ecuador's largest economic groups, have become linked to a multi-million dollar public procurement process. These are three contracts for the provision of school breakfasts, a process that began after the government filed a complaint against the previous supplier. So they previously had a different supplier called La Fattoria or La Fattoria, and because of the complaint that they put against them, I don't remember if it had something to do with the previous government. You guys know about, um, but I don't remember if it was because of that. But I remember that they said no, this can't be the one that's there, so let's put a new one. And one of the ones that won the contract for that to happen was a family member of Daniel Noboa. And to me, it seems like I said, like conflict of interest, because if you're the president and you're letting people who are your family members get into these businesses, like even if they won it and it looked fair and square, because I don't know, even if it looked fair and square, I feel like it wasn't. Uh, it's gonna look bad. Like if you're giving people reasons to talk, like you're just giving them more reasons to talk with that. So the reason why I equate this to him following the steps of President Trump is because I don't know if anyone remembers, but certain president in the United States did release a crypto coin and profited off of that crypto coin. There was a huge rug pull. I'm not really into crypto, but I love seeing how the crypto scams get exposed and brought down, and it's like crazy how easy people fall for the 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 trap of like, hey, buy now because you're gonna earn money afterwards, and then it's just rug pull and you ended up losing money. Like, it's not that I laugh at the people, I just laugh at how there are people who think that people are that gullible, and how unfortunate the system is that it allows this to keep happening. It it's funny to me. Like, how is this like not being regulated more heavily? Uh, it's not fair. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. I don't like how that goes. If you're into crypto, if you've invested into crypto, if you're good with crypto, then all props to you. I respect that. But if you're not into crypto and you think it's get rich quick, a kind of get rich quick scheme, I'll tell you the same thing CopyZilla tells everyone who wants to get into it. You're never gonna be faster than the insiders. You're never gonna be smarter. You're never gonna outsmart them. You're never gonna be better than the people who are in the scheme itself. If someone releases the coin, you're not going to be faster than that person or the people that that person put into the coin before you got into it. There's just no way. So basically, profiting off of other people through side ventures, definitely a thing we're seeing, you know, happen not just here. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about, like I said, was the whole military action, the help that we want from the states, which I am very much for. I keep saying, I've been one of those people who have said, I think if we had help from the United States, if we had help from an external power combating crime, especially with the cartels, we always talk about here, hey, why don't we have the military bases? And oh, by the way, I saw that they're already making talks about the military bases, and people are already getting mad because the election of the consulta popular, the popular consultation, hasn't even gone through, and the president is basically already saying that, yeah, we need to see where we're going to put these military bases. So it's like the overconfidence, the sheer audacity that he basically believes that we're going to vote for it. Uh, I wonder if that same energy is gonna make people just be like, you think you can control what we do, and make them vote against it. I kind of hope not, because like I do want these military bases here, because I do want there to be a little bit more control, and a little bit of external help. We can argue all day about how the United States is coming here for self interest. Who isn't doing things out of self-interest? Did we not just talk about the crypto scheme? Um, and even having the military base here, we want it here because we want the drug control. It is self-interest. Uh, but like once again, this kind of feels like us getting into kind of like this. I don't know how to call it. Like kind of like a deal. Like we not a deal. Imagine we have a common enemy, which is Tren de Aragua right now, which is the cartel that in the states they feel is the dangerous one that is taking lives in the states. Or it's the majority of the Latinos are from that gang apparently in the states because no one can be from anywhere else. They have to be part of some kind of gang like Tren de Aragua. Sure. Um, but think about it like that. If we have a common enemy and we're like telling you, hey, United States, look, we can help you. Like if you help us, we'll help you. Hey, look, let's fight the common enemy. It kind of feels like we get into more of this like deal where we're like not we because I talk about like I'm gonna be the friend of the president, but like the president is gonna be more friends with the president and maybe be able to like to fix things whenever he wants to. Um, I'm not sure you're gonna get what I mean with that, but it's more like how do I explain this? I have to go into the situation with the picture in order to explain that because think about what President Trump has been doing for a while now. He's been declaring that basically he's gonna put an end to the wars. He's got he can talk to Putin. Putin. I talk about him in Spanish and make him stop the wars. Maybe he can, but really, from what I've seen, it has not happened. But he makes it seem that way. They take pictures together, like, hey, look, we're besties. So if I tell him to do something and I glaze him like he's a donut, this man's gonna do everything I say. And that clearly has not worked. So it kind of feels like there's a similar thing happening here with maybe President Daniel Noboa wanting to show the President Trump, hey, look, we came here, we paid to be here. If they paid, if they didn't, then cool. So let's work together. Let's be friends. Can you drop the taxes, the tariffs on Ecuador? Or, they're 15%. Let's drop them to 10, or they're 10%. Let's drop them to 5. Like it kind of feels that way. But anyways, let's read the situation. Trump's declared war on drug cartels. Uh, on a drug raid in Guayaquil in Ecuador, the police say they have good intelligence that this is the home of a drug dealer. I've done dozens of embeds during my career covering Latin American drug gangs, and it's always deeply upsetting to see children caught up in it. The screams from the women and children pierce the air as the battering ram smashes through the front door of their home. They're shouting and all round chaos as police officers, machine guns, and pistols held out in front of them pile inside. Doors are kicked in, curtains ripped down, drawers are opened in bedrooms, and boxes and tables are overturned. There's children here, the woman shouts, or the women shout because there's more than one, as they all drop to the floor. We are on a drugs raid in Guayaquil in Ecuador, and the police say they have good intelligence that this is the home of a drug dealer. Let me just say that I feel like in the country, most people know where the drug dealers, where the bad people are, but there's this like certain fear that people have of repercussions where they won't go to those areas and take down the gangs, the people who are clearly criminals. But anyways, we can continue reading through this like it's an audiobook. But the point is, President U.S. President Donald Trump has launched a war against drug cartels and is demanding that countries on his list of troublesome nations toe the line and join him, or face punishing sanctions or worse. Ecuador doesn't produce drugs, but it is used as a transit country by drug cartels in this region. Its ports are the gateway to sea routes north to the United States and west to Asia and the South Pacific. So once again, if we have a good relationship with the states, it's just once again keeping things like avoiding problems with them. So if the states is enacting a war on drugs on cartels, then Ecuador is going to enact a war on drugs and cartels. Because I feel like I said, my theory, Daniel Noboa, President Noboa, is emulating what President Trump is doing. Now, moving on to the next one, and I don't seem to have put an article on it, because it's an obvious one. Okay, so there's the situation with the tariffs. I don't think I really need to explain that one because the tariffs have been world news for what seems like months now. Even now, when it feels like it's died down a little bit, I still can't get it out of my mind that there's like tariffs worldwide, from the states to all other countries. So the states are going on a tariff spree that far surpassed any consecutive amount of eliminations I could get in my Halo days. So let's just say that the states is going through tariff-tacular tariffs. So if the states can do something like that and get results, then maybe, just maybe, something like, Ecuador, a country like Ecuador, might be able to put tariffs, the 4x4, and get results as well. Why not? It's not. It doesn't seem to be something that's affecting another country from getting results. Even though there's mixed signals as to how good the tariffs have actually been. From last I heard, I'd have to do a little bit more investigations on that. But over here, I can tell you from a personal perspective, from the people I've heard around me, everyone's basically gave up on Timu because Timu was like becoming a thing here. Like it was becoming almost a concerning thing where everyone was ordering off of Timu. You would see someone with something new. Hey, where'd you get that? Oh, I got it from Timu. And I used to not trust those sites because it would take way too long for things to arrive, and some things would not arrive at all. So it's like if it's actually working and it was cheap, you were killing internal commerce, of course. But now with the tariffs, it's like the $20 no one's gonna pay. No one wants to pay $20 for buy when they want to buy something that costs $10. It just became a $30 item. So it's kind of like, I don't think I want to do that. Might as well just buy something here. There's some things that obviously you make exceptions for. Maybe things that you can't get here and you need, but it's in some cases it's more convenient to just use a courier, which is what I've been doing with my friend who does the courier service. There's obviously a more formal reason, like I said, for the 4x4, not just, hey, I want to copy the states, or President Trump. Like we've talked about what the more formal reason for the tariffs are, and I basically just mentioned it to not kill commerce here, because people weren't going to buy here if everything was cheaper outside of the country. Uh, and for most things, like it could be a case of correlation that doesn't imply causation, but I do want to open the room, like open everyone's expand everyone's minds and give you a chance to think about the possibilities, because you know you always have to question everything. um it's good to question everything. Obviously in some cases you're going to say, but then you're going to become paranoid. Sometimes it's better to be paranoid in order to avoid falling for things that you shouldn't really fall for. But yeah, these are basically my thoughts in regards to the correlation between Daniel Noboa and President Trump, President Noboa and President Trump. Why I feel that some of these things are being emulated, but just done differently, obviously, because it's Ecuador is not the States. So the way you do things here obviously has to be different. But those are my thoughts. Release the list, and I want to know what you think. What do you think about the situation? Well, my theory, my game plan, not even game plan, but my game theory, uh, about what's happening and the correlation, which doesn't necessarily mean causation. Causation, that doesn't mean correlation. But what you think about my thoughts. I want to know what you think as well, because I do want us to be able to talk about these things. This is an open space where we can talk. I'm not gonna say no, don't write certain things. I'm not gonna delete your comments unless it's truly hateful, something truly horrible. There are people who seem to think that I delete comments. I do not. If anyone deletes comments now, it's probably gonna be YouTube's AI, which is weird. Doesn't delete bots, but it deletes people's comments. Okay, but yeah. So while I wait for any questions, any thoughts, I do want to open up the next article so that you can start getting a view of it. I also forgot to bring my water. Let me. I don't have a lot over there, but I do have some. I was so rushed when I got home because I had to set up the stream. Normally, I would do this in the afternoon, and based on my schedule on Fridays now, I might have to switch the weekly, the the biweekly live streams from Fridays to Sundays because the classes I'm going to be giving are going to be every week. That means even the week of my live streams. Even if they cancel, I have to assume I have classes unless they cancel on time. And at that point, I don't know if I'd have enough time to let you know, hey, we're not doing it on Sunday, we're doing it on Friday. So I'd rather just say that maybe after this stream, we're gonna just stream on Sundays just to make it a little bit easier. So I'm not running all over the place to be able to do the stream. But yeah, let's look at the next topic. Well, let's start preparing to look at the next topic. Drink some more water. Okay, so the next topic, the economy is suffering from the constant protests, strikes, and lack of institutionality hinder economic recovery. The 11 days of roadblocks led by the National Confederation of Agricultural Workers, the CONAIE, in protest of the elimination of the diesel subsidy have put a stop to the perception of stability that Ecuador seemed to enjoy this year. With a reduced country risk as well as a record non oil exports and tax collections. Today, the situation is different. The strikes and the announcement of legal reforms via a constituent assembly are once again sowing uncertainty, the great specter that is threatening economic recovery. I should start an audiobook and just read these things. I don't know. Read certain books and articles. That'd be cool. So, some of my thoughts in regards to this. Because of how the situation is developing, I've been checking in more on what's been happening, of course. Unfortunately, I didn't get to check in today because I've just been all over the place. But from my personal economic perspective, of course, someone who lives here, I haven't really seen any major shifts in prices that are a direct result of the diesel going up. What I did do a double take on, because that was kind of funny the other day when I was in Supermaxi, I saw some things, like I was walking and boom, I see some things and they were priced at like 57 cents, which is a price that I rarely ever see. Normally, when you see things priced in supermarkets, it's always closer to the rounded number. Let's just assume 59 cents, or going down like 39 cents, 40 cents, or just the solid number itself. Like it was such an awkward price to see things at 57 cents. I'm not saying that that's not possible for things to be priced like that. It just looked very weird from my perspective. Now, I don't remember what the thing that I saw was, but I did find it weird to see that price point. But once again, it might have been just like an effect of me searching for abnormalities and finding a product that I just simply never looked at before, and it just always had that price. Though I do swear there were more than one item, like one that was like 77 cents. Like they're in the 7 range. I don't know, might just be my imagination. It might actually be convenient for me to do a rerun of my grocery video at the supermarket, my shopping experience, to make comparisons of like past prices and current prices to see if diesel's gonna affect it. I don't know if I should do it yet. Like maybe I should wait for the dust to settle a bit and see if like things start going up in price more noticeably and make the comparison then. But if that's something that you're interested in, then let me know. But one thing that I will say that I've noticed, and which is gasoline, which ironically is not diesel, uh, is that gasoline feels more expensive. I tried to fill my tank of gas for my motorcycle like a week ago. I put in $5 and it filled in like halfway or less. I do know that when my motorcycle tank is empty, it doesn't fill up, like not empty because I never let it get empty. But when it's low, when I fill it up, it doesn't fill up completely. But I've never seen it go like the halfway line or a little bit less than the halfway line, even after it was like really low. With $5, it would go past the halfway line and at least be to a little bit less than like the 3/4 line. But it didn't. So this week, I actually had to put another $5 on Wednesday in order to completely fill up the tank. So I'm not sure if that's just, like I said, coincidence with my tank. I'd have to ask someone that has a car, which I was gonna do today, but I forgot. I just had too many things to do. But uh, it could be affecting prices of things in general, uh, or it could eventually end up affecting those things as well. Now, when it comes to bigger Paro effects, it seems that those have the possibility to be seen in the long term, at least according to what we were reading, what's in the article, which I'll read a little bit of. For Vela, no, let's start over here. For Maria de la Paz Vela, precisely that person, an economist with a master's degree in economic and social studies, all of this undermines expectations of improvement. All of this referring to everything we mentioned before. The reasons why there's, the doubt, uncertainty, uh, which could hinder the government's goal of closing the year with gross domestic product GDP growth close to 4%. For Vela, also a professor at the Universidad San Francisco de Quito, the expansion is likely to be smaller, especially if the government fails to suppress a demonstration like this one, which so far has been playing in its favor. The 2 weeks of protests, concentrated only in the north of the country, are still far from adding up to the economic losses, or adding up to the amount of the economic losses generated by the strikes in October 2019 and June 2022, with $800 million and $1.1 billion, respectively. Hence, the great challenge, she adds, is to establish dialogue and contain the road closures, which are already affecting the productive sector. So, like I was saying over here, for analysts, the real consequences could be seen in the coming months in the level of citizen confidence and that of local and foreign investors, who are also responsible for driving economy forward with spending and investment. Investors don't just see legal security, but also political and institutional security and stability. Investors always take the long view, and when faced with a strike, they say, "I no longer see what stability I saw as, or I saw before." I'm assuming. So basically, at the moment, we might not see the major effects of the battle. Like, there's a chance that, of course, we'll start seeing minor effects little by little, and maybe they'll pile up to the point where they become big effects. But more than the fact that there's actually like the strikes, the paros, we're not seeing any major effects at the moment. At least not yet. But we could. Now, moving on, this was something that happened yesterday, if I remember correctly. Take another sip of water before I run out. Translate to English, please. Try again, please. Was this the page that last time was giving me problems with translations? Maybe. Okay, yes. Probably is. Because it took 2 tries. Okay, so the CONAIE will meet in Quito to define new resolutions for the national strike. The CONAIE announced that its expanded council will meet in Quito on Thursday, October 2nd, 2025, inviting its entire organizational structure. The leadership announced that they will define new resolutions regarding the national strike there. The demonstration called by the Confederation of Indigenous Nationalities of Ecuador, the CONAIE, have been going on for 10 days in different parts of the country. The epicenter of the protests have been concentrated in the province of Imbabura, where Quechua communities are leading the actions. Tensions escalated this Sunday, September 28, 2025, after the death of community member Efrain Fuertes in the community of Quicocha, Quiroga Parish, Cotacachi Canton. Cotacachi, from where the bus stop here is at right now. Indigenous representatives from the area held the Ecuadorian state responsible for this incident. During the clashes, 12 soldiers were injured and 17 were temporarily detained by villagers. All were later released. According to Defense Minister Giancarlo Lofredo, according to him, the soldiers suffered bruises and were treated at the military hospital. Now, what I do want to say, and here it says the national government assured that it will stand firm in its decision regarding the protest. So, calling the communities for a dialogue, I'm kind of wondering what exactly is the resolution they're going to get to, because I kind of feel like the government doesn't want to get into a solution for this situation. Like the best solution that I keep coming up with is mainly having a vehicle that is only that vehicle can have the subsidy. Like for every company, every business, like you can register one vehicle to have the subsidy. So as long as that vehicle is in the database of the government and the people at the gas stations can verify it, then they'll always give you a reduction in price because of the subsidy. And only for that vehicle. But my concern for that, what I always say, is that Viveza Criolla is always going to seep into every solution that I can probably give to the system. Because even if you have these vehicles with specific license plates, only that vehicle can do it. I can guarantee you that that vehicle is going to be at the beach every weekend. And clearly, if it's at the beach every weekend, it's not there for work. Unless the work is at the beach, which would be coincidentally ironic. So I feel like the Paro can't last forever. Honestly, if I were to strike, like I don't even know if I could last for longer than a week without work because I would just feel so bad that I'm not working and generating money and putting myself and my family in a worse position that I wouldn't be able to hold out. So I hate this thought that like that yes, the Paro can't last forever, but I also hate the thought that all you got to do is wear them out and the battle will be over, because that's like basically saying that you can't fight for your rights, like you can't defend yourself because no matter how long or how much you want to, you know you can't outlast something like the government. Like I hate that thought. Like it shouldn't be like that. Like if there's I really hope that the dialogue comes through with a solution. And once again, going back to the idea of maybe they're just doing this for relevance. Hopefully, it's not just for relevance, and they're really actually trying to look for the good of the people. And they come up with a solution that actually is for the good of the people. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on the situation with the battle? Like, I'm hoping that something happens, but based on what I saw, like they're gonna get together to to find these resolutions. But I really don't feel like there's gonna be an end to this anytime soon. And I don't. It's not related to the Paro. Next week there's a feriado. There's a holiday on Friday, and the president announced a holiday for Thursday and Friday. And I don't know if that's just kind of like his way of like shutting down institutions or giving people a holiday an extra day in order for the battle to not affect them as much, because if it's a day off anyways, like that day is free, like you don't have to worry about work anyways. So I don't know, because even ironically my coworkers were actually complaining about it, like what's the point of the battle, like what's the not the battle, what's the point of the extra holiday day, like the president just basically pulled it out his butt is what they were saying. um I can't say I completely agree, but I also don't completely disagree. It does feel kind of weird. Like I like days off too, but I also like working so I can make money. Right now, I'm going to eat a cookie. This is an avena cookie that my aunt from Guayaquil made. I'm going to. I know this is very off topic, but I've been talking like a parrot for a while now. So Avena chocolate chip cookie, a little bit healthier than normal cookies. Uh, I really like it. I ate a few of them already. That's why this bag is pretty much almost done. Mm. I just don't want it to expire. My aunt does have a page on Instagram, MTM Bakery, if you want to check it out. But yeah, I love these cookies that she made. Thank you, Aunt. Gracias, tía. Mm. Random story time. My aunt was here this weekend that passed for her birthday. That's when she brought us these cookies, and we invited her out to eat ceviche. It was really nice. I really love my aunt. Same way I love my parents, because she's like always been in our lives. So I was really happy to have her here and for her to have wanted to share her birthday with us. Mm. Cookie. I'll eat the little one in a bit. Start prepping the next article. Mm-hmm. Go to page. I feel like everyone's been very quiet. Buenas to everyone who's in the chat. I would love for you to leave a comment, even if it's just hi, buenas. Tell me, do you like chocolate chip cookies? I love chocolate chip cookies. And in fact, I like anything that's chocolate related. Me and chocolates, forever. So I paused the video and it plays itself again. Let me. Is it muted? You. Okay, it's muted. Should be muted. Okay. So, Ecuador prison video, 17 dead bodies, 17 dead, bodies mutilated and beheaded as drug gangs turn jails into war zones. I really don't want to go show much more of that because you don't need to see anything that's going on there. At least I don't think that video is going to play itself unless, again, that site autoplay. Ooh, frustration. Um, at least 17 prisoners were killed in a brutal riot at Ecuador's Esmeraldas Penitentiary, with many victims showing signs of mutilation and beheadings. Authorities blame drug gangs battling for control inside overcrowded prisons, as the death toll from similar massacres climbs 30 in just 3 days. With cartels using Ecuador's ports as drug corridors, violence inside prisons has spiraled out of control despite military intervention. I think everyone remembers how happy I was to see military intervention in prisons. But even then, it seems like there's still way too much power from the cartels inside the prisons. How? If I wanted to, I probably couldn't get a gun if I tried. And these people are over in prison beheading each other. So I'm obviously not going to show what's happened inside the prison, like I said, inside this video. Hopefully, it doesn't decide to autoplay itself. And I'm actually surprised that this flew under my radar. That I really only saw the situation with the second prison killing, and that's how I ended up finding the situation about the first prison killing. Because, like it says, the death total is 30 now, from the 17 that happened in this one, and apparently 13 more that happened in the previous one. So I think, once again, this is a good reminder that the real crime and consequences happen in Ecuador mainly if you're involved with gangs, if you're involved with drugs, if you're involved with cartels, if you're in these kinds of situations, then you're more likely to run into danger. You could end up in the middle of gang conflict. That's not impossible. I always tell you, like, no, it can happen anywhere. But it's definitely not as likely as some people want to make it seem online. Like online, it makes it seem like, oh, but what if I go out and the cartel is tiroteo, like the shooting, like yeah, it could happen, but like the chances of it, really, do you not know the people you're hanging out with? I mean, you can also not know the people around you, but like at that point, don't avoid going out. Just avoid going out to certain places. I do hate the fact that petty crime can be violent, but that's why I always recommend taking the right precautions. For anyone who saw my safety guide video, you know what the precautions are. And some people called me exaggerated for making that video, and I'm not saying that all of those things are going to happen or all those things like all of those precautions are necessary all the time. But like it's definitely good to know them so that you know this is the level of safety that it could be at some point, and be prepared for that. And it's funny because I saw a video that was that made it sound was much more paranoid than mine. And even if you do somehow go through petty crime, because like I realize these kinds of things can happen. I will say what I've said before: your items are not as important as your life. If you're worried about losing your items, just don't bring them. Like leave expensive things at home. Bring a cheap phone. Bring a cheap camera. If you want, you can use something like an insurance, such as Safety Wing, so that you can use the electronics theft option, so that if something gets stolen, it's insured and you get your money back for that. Or just once again, just come with less fancy items. Like why risk it? Uh, there's so many ways that you can avoid this kind of crime happening in Ecuador, but it really most of the time depends on you. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, and this one's going to be hard to do because I have no idea if I try to play a video, if the computer's just gonna like explode. Um, I don't even want to play the full video. I just wanted to show in the video. In fact, I'm just gonna open it up over here, and I'm gonna look for the part that I want to talk about because I don't think I want to open this video and then the computer just super crash on us in midstream. So let's see. This video was Philip DeFranco show Shane Gillis versus Bill Burr. Uh, if you want to watch the video, I'll leave the link in the description, most likely, so you can check it out. But look, what it says is that, well, not what it says, but what happened is that multiple people were killed across 4 separate U.S. mass shootings. That's just a part of the video. But what I wanted to highlight was the fact that, like, so many people talk to me about danger in Ecuador, and like the one danger that I always hate here is the petty crime, like getting your things robbed, because like I can't afford to get my phone robbed because I can't afford another one. Like that's not an easy thing for me to afford. I could probably buy one, but I'd have to tap into savings that I pretty much don't have, uh, and put myself in a really bad position, like just to recover a phone. Like even if I went for a cheaper phone, like that's not the point. Like I should be able to walk around not even like flashing it, but like having it on my person without having to worry about someone robbing it. Like that's the one thing I hate the most. And we can talk about that danger or danger in general in Ecuador until our faces go blue. But danger is everywhere. Like in this video, like you'll if you watch the video, and I don't know if I should just leave it. I'll probably leave it in the chat so you can check it out later. And if you don't see the chat, of course, I'll leave it in the description. Someone please remind me of that. Um, but I'll leave the video in the chat. And in fact, if I can pin this, then I will pin message so that you can check it out yourself. But it shows in the video there's a part of the articles that Philip DeFranco Phil is talking about where he mentions these mass shootings. One of them was in a church, like people in the church getting shot in a church. You don't go to church expecting for there to be a mass shooting. Over here, even less. That does not happen. But in the States, really, churches getting shot up, school shootings, public mass shootings, political violence, which, yes, happened here too. Why are we saying that Ecuador is more dangerous than a place like the States when in the States you clearly have things like this that happen there as well? I'm not saying that the States is more dangerous than Ecuador. This is not a who has the bigger pee competition. This is a show that it's really about where you're at. It's timing, how much you take care of yourself when you're at a place. There's so many factors that it's getting really, really hard to talk about safety without sounding like a broken record, because everyone tells me, I not everyone, but I see the comments all the time. There's even one comment that I saw the other day. I'm like, I know about there being like a whole bunch of homicide rates in Ecuador or something, and I'm like, yeah, I know. Ecuador has crime, but what place doesn't have crime? Maybe Switzerland. But really, like, what place does not have crime? So I can go and live there if I had the money. But like, there's so many places with crime, and we're out here, like, there are people bad mouthing it, and I do realize that that's just because that's how the internet works. Um, we have a right to free speech. If you want to say that Ecuador is the most dangerous country, go ahead, say all you want. But I'm never gonna agree with you because there are countries that are also dangerous, like Ecuador is. Like, see, the comment that I saw said no, Ecuador has 5K plus deaths of homicide this year. Ecuador can have a lot of deaths, a lot of crime, but crime is everywhere. And you're not going to tell me that Ecuador is the most dangerous country in the world just because we have a high level of crime in some parts of the country when you could come visit here to a safer part of the country and not have anything happen to you at all. Or you can come truly prepared and not have anything happen to you at all. I've recommended tour guides. I've made safety videos. I honestly don't know what else to do to tell you that you can visit Ecuador and still stay safe. Like, if you don't want to believe me, that's always going to be on you. And people who live here, we know that there is danger. But just like we know there's danger, you see the news of mass shootings in your country, and you're going to tell me it's not dangerous? Come. You can argue, but it wasn't in my area. And I can argue the same thing too. Like I always say, if I'm here in my room, there's no crime. I'm okay. I step out of the house, that's when I got to be cautious. But taking the right precautions, it doesn't always guarantee your safety, but it certainly does raise your chances. In the States, you could go out with body armor, and that would make you more safe. But while everyone around you has a gun or has the possibility of having a gun, how do you know if you're really safe? How do you know the guy next to you with a mental health issue isn't going to pull out his Glock and be like, you know what, I had a bad day. Boom, you're dead and done. How do you know that? You have no guarantees. So if you're going to come here and tell me that Ecuador is the most dangerous country, take a step back and look at the situation where you're from, where you're at, and tell me that the chance, the possibility of crime does not exist. If you tell me that there's a 0% chance in crime happening where you're at, then okay, where you're at is safer than where I'm at. Cool. Where you're at is safe. Cool. But don't but don't come at me with Ecuador is the most dangerous country ever. Like without like you being the safest country in the world ever. Or come at me with it because this is a free place to speak. Like if you want to say that, I'm never going to agree with you, but we can agree to disagree. I love the internet. It's the love-hate relationship that you have online. I love everyone who's here, like taking the time to listen, giving feedback whenever we have some conversations here. It's fun. It's fun, but it's also so interesting how we can be so aware of something that's in our niche, something we're so interested in, that we lose sight of everything around it. Like you can love a creator, you can love a person, and still be conscious of their mistakes and accept that they have them. But there's so many people who online are like, who butter people up like I said, they glaze them like a donut. Best person in the world. And this person is doing really, really bad things in the background. But no, they're doing it because like justifying their actions. That reminds me of this the comedian situation recently. Moist Critical talked about it, but I also saw I think Phil talk about it yesterday. And they went to Saudi Arabia to do a comedy show for the princes, I think it was, and it was so hypocritical that they are warriors of free speech because when you do comedy, you basically tell everyone that your voice has power because you're through your comedy you express your opinion. It's like me with my platform, like with YouTube, like I tell you about the things that are happening and I give you my opinion on them. And these people go to a country where they silence you for giving your opinion. Like if your opinion doesn't align with their opinion, or if you say something bad about them. Like, really? Like I can get wanting to make money. We all want to make money. If I were rich, I'd still be here, making videos, having fun, and I just wouldn't have to stress out about it because sometimes it's tough. I have to make a video. I have to work. I have to work because if I don't work, I don't have money. If I don't have money, I can't buy the things that I want or need. I can't make my family happy. And that's just considering right now my parents and my brother and myself. But one day, when I have a wife, when I have kids, because yes, I do have uh, the desire to one day get married, have a beautiful wife, have beautiful kids, um, have a nice place to live in. Like I want to make sure I can provide for them, and not saying that my wife can't provide as well, but I want to be able to do it as well. Like, so I worry about these things. But if I had the money, I wouldn't have to worry about them. Obviously, I'd be able to focus on just making videos, having fun, doing more things that don't just have to be me sitting here talking about the news, the political aspects of some things, the country, because this is kind of getting political. But it's the situation in Ecuador. There's there's another one, another site I didn't open, another article. For the people who are in Ecuador or coming to Ecuador, the paros, of course, uh, there are roads that are closed in the paros, of course. And the good thing about the internet, once again, the good and the bad of the internet, is that you can look up. They do tell you like what roads are going to be closed. Like here, there are roads blocked in Imbabura Pichincha, Bolivar, Chimborazo, Cañar. On the 2nd of October, there were protests in Quito, Guayaquil, Cuenca. Sometimes they get a little bit more specific on what these roads are, but with you knowing the areas that there are protests happening, just don't go to those areas. Don't go to Zimbabura. Don't go to Pichincha, Bolivar, Chimborazo, Guayaquil, Cuenca. Visit Puerto Viejo. Visit Manta for people who hate Puerto Viejo for some reason. Visit a different city and you'll be fine. Because so far, Manabi province has not been affected by the pot. Keenan Black, how's it going, Keenan? Just joined in, but I agree, GM. Anything can happen anywhere. That's just life, brother. Like, seriously, there's so many places that you can see things happen in the world. Like, and people make an emphasis on Ecuador. And I get it because we're here on my channel, we're talking about Ecuador. I get it. I get it. But the same way we nitpick the bad things, why can't we nitpick the good things? The safe areas. Go to Galapagos. Go to Galapagos. You're gonna have the best freaking time in Galapagos. It's amazing. I just found out the other day that in Baños, there's this like enchanted forest that even has like a Harry Potter section. I want to go. There's this other place that my friends were showing me where you can like when you wake up, you can see above the clouds. Why are we focusing on the bad stuff? I mean, I know I'm kind of like focusing on a lot of bad stuff here, but like why are we just focusing on that all the time? Muy buenas noches. Muy buenas noches para ti también, for YouTube. So yeah, there are clearly ways that you can avoid the crime. If you're worried about the paros, like look it up. Vías cerradas Ecuador Paro Nacional 2025, and you'll see what roads are blocked, or it'll give you an idea. Go for it and check it out. I've been living here on the coast for almost 8 years now. Never felt unsafe. I'm glad for you. Love that. Love that. I love it when people have like the most amazing experiences. Like I don't know if people assume that I tell them the bad things so that like I'm trying to scare them. No, I'm trying to inform you. If I inform you, you have a realistic view of what's happening over here. Because I'm not here to kill tourism. I'm here to make sure that when people come here for tourism, they go to the right places. They do the right things so that they can have the right time. Because that's what someone who cares about other people does. If I didn't care, I'd just be like, all of Ecuador is perfect. It's not. No country's perfect. So many people have talked about they don't want to go to the States anymore because it's terrible. And the States is like in my mind was my perfect place. Not anymore. So many things I've heard about. Not anymore. I have to go there myself, and I could probably go and have like the best time. No danger, everything fine. I don't get chased down by ICE agents because they see me as a Latino, but they don't chase me down. Like I can go there and have the best time. But I can also have a bad time. No place is guaranteed. But you'll never know if you don't try. So yeah. Those, I think, were my main talking points for today. Let me do a double check on my list of things. I feel like I kind of want to put out this list to members so that they can see what I plan, because sometimes there's a lot of things I don't get to talk about because I try to make sure that what I talk about, like I already know what I have to talk about, but this is in detail, like on the list. But I don't want to just sit here and read the list. Like I do want to, I look through it a little bit so that way I remember what I had written and what I wanted to talk about more specifically. But sometimes some things I just can't go through the list. That's all I'll say. But yeah, let's end the news aspect. For anyone with Ecuador related news, please leave your questions in the chat. If you want to ask me privately, send me an email, of course. I don't always reply immediately, but I will reply as soon as I can. Yeah, let's prepare for the other half, the tiny half of the stream. This. What? Yeah, and let's eat the other cookie. So, talking points. So the first thing I want to mention, I was gonna take a screenshot of this, but I just have not had the time. Today was not a good day for that. I should have done that yesterday. That's my fault. I was gonna take a screenshot of the video that I recorded. I made. I already started working, of course, on the video of the next video I wanted to make in my Puerto Viejo series of videos. It's not an individual video. If it were just up to me, I would have done it a long time ago. I needed to work with my friends, so that's why it took me a little bit longer to record. It's recorded. There's still the intro missing, so there's one tiny part, but I want to edit everything else and then add the intro at the end, like add it to the beginning after I finish editing everything else. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. Man, I don't even want to promise dates because every time I promise a date, I feel like I'm not going through with it. But pressure me. Like if anyone wants to send me an email and tell me, hey, when's the next video coming out? I am not gonna get mad. I'm actually gonna be happy that you're listening and you're helping me keep on track. Because if I think no one's interested, sometimes even I try a little bit less hard. Like sometimes I feel like maybe you're not gonna want to watch this video because it's not a video of the typical topics of general Ecuador stuff. So I'm like, maybe you're not gonna want to watch it, but pressure me, tell me I want to watch this next video, and I'll try to make it. Hello, Kie. I don't know if that's the way that you say the name that you have here, Kie. Kai. Hello from Baltimore. Hi. My brother, big fan of Baltimore Ravens. I like them too, but I'm a Falcons fan, by the way. I want to visit Cuenca one day. Thank you for your channel. I thank you for taking the time to check out my channel. Muy buenas noches to you for being here. Buenas noches, obviously buenas. Hello. You clearly like anime. Are there comic cons in Ecuador? Ah, ah. Why? Yes, I love anime. Like you said, it's very clear. Big love for anime. If you look at my backpack, my other backpack, where do I have it? Over here. Let me just show you that view because it is my masterpiece. I have so many pins of anime. Some of these were made by my students that they gave me for my birthday, and some are just like ones that I bought that I found in conventions. Because yes, Ecuador does have uh, comic cons, anime conventions. In fact, if you are in Ecuador right now, this weekend, tomorrow, starting tomorrow, Budokan, the biggest anime convention in Guayaquil, is going on tomorrow and on Sunday. It is something that I wanted to go to, but ironically, one of the talking points is that I wasn't able to. I'm not going to be able to go this year. Me and my friend Roddy, we were like, we should go this year. We should go. We went 2 years ago, and we actually streamed part of it on the channel. 2 years ago, I think it was. At this point, I actually have pictures of that on my Instagram. We went 2 years ago. We wanted to go this year, but it was impossible. He didn't get paid at work, and I don't have funds this month. I actually had to repair my motorcycle yesterday because the light was acting up. I had to get the oil changed. Next month is the matriculation of the motorcycle. Last time we had a stream, I mentioned my TV broke. I had to get that fixed. I've just been really on the spending side. I still have to pay for this treatment that I had to do for my teeth. I have to pay this month. I was finishing the payment for some curtains that I bought for my room. So and I'm just not in a position to go this year. I really wanted to go this year, but unfortunately, I was unable to. And wow, it actually seems like it was 3 years ago that we went to the Budokan convention. Paste. I'll send. This is the link to the live stream. You don't have to watch the whole thing, but just so that you can see, this was Budokan. That's what it looks like. It might look better this year. I'm not sure. There are Comic Cons. They typically happen in Quito, and different cities have different events. For example, here in Puerto Viejo, there's going to be an anime event on the 25th, Halloween themed, of course. I'm already planning on doing my cosplay because, yes, I like to cosplay. I don't do good cosplays, by the way. I'm not like, I have the wig, I have the makeup, I do it really well. But if there's a character I really like and I can do something simple for them, like I'll do it. because I really like it. But yeah, there are conventions here. They happen in different cities. The biggest ones are Bulacan. There's the Comic Con that happens in Guayaquil, no, in Quito, I think it was. Um, what else? There's another one that I know that is a really big convention that happens in Ecuador that is anime related and comics related. But those are the ones that come to mind right now. But yeah, we weren't able to go. Hopefully, I don't want to push it off for longer than next year because I really want to go. If I Since I'm not going to the Budokan, I'll probably see if I can go to Comic Con, which I think there is one in December. I think. Do not quote me on that, but I think. But I really want to go. So yeah, video in production, which is my Puerto Viejo video. It's gonna be referring to something related to burgers. The Bulacan plan, which was unfortunately canceled, unless I somehow pull, I don't know, $200 out of nowhere. Like, oh hey, I found $200. Like then I could go and like actually enjoy it. Like the money for the trip, the money to spend the night, the money for food, the money to buy things to say that it was an enjoyable experience. Maybe even like bring someone along so we can live stream, because that would be fair. That would make it better. But yeah, if not, I'd really rather not go. It's just not. I don't want to go by myself. I don't have the money. If I can't pull money out of air, it wouldn't be good. So yeah, but I will be covering hopefully an event in the future in a live stream. If I don't live stream it on here, I'll probably live stream on Instagram because sometimes there's this whole conflict of niche, and that always concerns me so much when it comes to YouTube. I already get such little exposure to my channel sometimes that I feel like my goal of reaching 100,000 subscribers is so far away. If you want to help me reach that goal, share the video with people who need to know about Ecuador. Like, you don't have to share the live streams because I realize that's more for people who want to deep dive. But I have a lot of content on my channel that can be very useful for people who want to visit Ecuador for the first time, who want to visit Ecuador, stay for the long run, food prices. One of my favorite videos right now, the best city in Ecuador. The editing on that video is top notch. So yeah. If you have any thoughts, suggestions, opinions, let me know. Avena cookie. Okay. Mm, two more things I want to talk about. Let me finish my cookie. Keenan, I'm glad you've been to Puerto Viejo. It's so great. If you ever have a chance to escape the bus terminal and spend some time in the city, go to, for Encebollado, go to Levy's or Mariachi. Grab a taxi if you want, or, you can try to get there through walking. In my Puerto Viejo video, I actually put the directions of both places. Um, but go to either one of those two and best encebollados that you will ever try. In regards to ceviche, Kuno Seafood, really good. You can go to Lauritas also. People talk about Lauritas a lot. Bolivar, Cevicheria Bolivar, El Especial, amazing ceviche places. It's hard to miss in Puerto Viejo when it comes to food. Everything is a hit. Okay, the other thing I wanted to talk about, just a little bit of an extra tiny review. I finished my magnesium pills, these things that I bought, capsules. Uh, I personally bought this one right here. magnesium glycinate. It comes with vitamin D3 and K2 and aloe vera. It has 90 servings. So I've basically been taking one every day for like 3 months. It's really great. Really, really, really. It's been really good to me in the sense that I feel like, in a way, like I sleep a little bit better. But I'm not sure if all of that is placebo because I know I'm taking them. Like in my mind, I trick myself. Oh, hey, I need to sleep better. Um, but at the same time, I'm wondering if it has more effect on me since my health is okay in general, or if it would have more effect on someone whose health was not as good and they need this more, and they would see a better effect. Like I see an effect, but once again, it could just be placebo. But there might be people who like are in really bad shape, really have a hard time sleeping, even harder than I do, and this could end up helping them more. I need to try. I'm actually going to try. I have another magnesium supplement, and I'm gonna see if that one has more effects. I already started taking it last night, and I don't know. I think I felt more relaxed, but I don't know if it's better yet. I'll have to wait like a month, and then I'll let you know. Uh, is Cuenca the best city if you don't drive? It's a lot easier to walk around. Most Ecuadorians agree that it is beautiful. Some people say that if you don't like the colonial look, you're not gonna really like Cuenca very much. It's fresh. The altitude might be tough if you're not good with altitudes. Um, my good buddy Don Shader had that situation. If not, I think he'd be living in Cuenca. Um, but I'd say it's a great city. Like if you want to live in Cuenca and walk around, like and feel a little bit safe while being in Ecuador, I think you'd be fine in Cuenca. I still would always play the precaution card and say, hey, if you're gonna walk around and have like tech or fancy stuff, at least walk around with a friend. At least. But you know, it's definitely a lot safer than other cities when it comes to walking around. And I guess the last thing I wanted to mention, just to end today's stream, is that I had an ankle injury. I don't know if I had mentioned it 2 weeks ago, but I had like this. It's like not an injury that prevented me from walking. It's just I had part of my ankle swollen. I've iced it. I've taken medication. It's gotten better. Ironically, now I have like I woke up the other day with this kind of like back injury, where it kind of feels like when you wake up and you like kind of like move your neck too fast, so it like messes up your whole back. Uh, and I had something like that happen to my upper back, so I'm like when I move too much to the side, like not right now. Right now I feel much better, but like when I moved like this, I was like oh pain on my back, and it was horrible. It was really 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 bad. I hated that. But I feel much better now. Definitely. I'm gonna see if maybe through a little bit more relaxation, moving around, it feels even better. I don't even know what triggered it. Is the thing is what it's really confusing me. I kind of feel like sometimes since at night, I'll wake up at 3 in the morning like that and just like startled. Like maybe I moved my neck too fast when that happened and it messed me up really bad. Who knows? Keenan, Ikia, Cuenca is very easy to get around without driving, but so is most of the country. Kia, thank you. Ecuador is my dream country, but I need to visit first. Definitely come over as soon as you can. Once you make it to Ecuador, trust me, I think you're gonna love it. Definitely the encebollado is something you're gonna love. Keenan taxis are super cheap there, and yes, walking around is viable. Also, bikes. Some cities have better bike sections than others. I know my city doesn't have the best bike section. They've been improving it little by little now. Um, it's been kind of funny because I mentioned that before, and after I mentioned it, like maybe a year after I mentioned it, they started making like bicycle sections, and I'm like, so talking does work. The same thing with the holes. Like when I mentioned the holes, like a few months or maybe like a half a year later, like they started patching the holes, and I'm like, hmm. So talking isn't a bad thing, huh? Because some people are like, no, you shouldn't say anything. You should be grateful for what you have. Yeah, I'm grateful for what I have. But like, if we don't use our voices to make things better, then what are our voices for? You feel me? But yeah, those were the talking points for today's live stream. If there's anything else you'd like to cover or talk about, uh, answer now or forever hold your peace. Hmm. Boop, 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 boop. Nothing? Okay. So, if everyone's good, if everything's good, Keenan, Kia, uh, thank you for this added interaction. Thank you for being here. The buck stop here. I'm not sure if you're still here on stream. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate everyone who took the time, even just to check out the stream or the VOD once this becomes a video on demand. Hopefully, some of the information was useful for you. And yeah, I'm kind of hoping that next 2 weeks I'm gonna have another stream like usual. Just it's probably gonna be on Sundays. The bi-weekly live streams are probably gonna be Sundays now. What did you mention about a burger event? No, it's the burger video. I recorded a video and it has to do with burgers. I think if you visit Puerto Viejo and you want to know about burgers, you're gonna like that video. Hopefully. I have to make it interesting because I kind of let's just say I'm not the biggest fan of watching videos of food, but I've seen that people really enjoy them. Um, I won't. Well, yeah, I won't spoil it, but I'll spoil a little bit in the sense that uh, you're gonna find out what the best burger in this city is. So I really hope you enjoy it when it comes out. For everyone who joined the stream, a little bit of a heads up of what's coming in the future. There's also other things that I have to make about the city. But it's mostly food related because Puerto Viejo is definitely a very food centered city in terms of what we have to offer. Gastronomy is just unstoppable in Puerto Viejo. Unstoppable. That's the only way I can put it. Keenan, well, I'm more into the local food, so thanks for those suggestions. Not a problem. Thank you for being here. Kia, I'll be tuning in again. I'm glad I finally caught the live this time. I'm glad you were able to make it. I had to I had to make it super late today, but next time I'll probably do it on Sunday, which is more of a free day for more people. Because at least for me, Fridays are gonna be complicated because I have to work now on Fridays, an extra hour like I did today, but I think other Fridays are going to be more complicated than they were today. So yeah, we'll probably leave it for Sunday. That way, there's less conflicts. So yeah, thanks for watching. I will see you guys next 2 weeks. In the next 2 weeks, of course, I will try to post things. I always post competitions for to practice Spanish. I always post funny memes in Spanish so that you learn Spanish through memes as well. uh, Definitely subscribe for those things. If you want to check out extra things that happen in my life or in Ecuadorian life, check out my Instagram. And yeah, if you want to become a member, channel members, by the way, thank you for supporting. Buy Me a Coffee members, also thank you for supporting. I have a purpose for the Buy Me a Coffee uh, funds that I'm getting that is gonna something I'm gonna probably update everyone on in this month's update of my monthly updates. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys soon. And as always, ace out. Have an excellent rest of your night, day, or whatever hour you might be in the country you're at, or that you watch this video.